In the meantime, a possible trade war to the north and south of the U.S. as President Trump threatens tariffs on both Mexico and Canada. The president speaking with Mexico's president this morning, both seeming to agree that tariffs will be paused for 1 month for Mexico. However, Canada's 25% tariffs are still set to go into effect at midnight. President Trump will speak with Prime Minister Trudeau later today. So here are some everyday items that could see a rise in prices as a result. Things like maple syrup. More than 60% of Canada's production is exported here to the U.S., and 60% of the oil that the U.S. imports comes from Canada, which that could mean prices go up at the pump 30 to possibly 70 cents a gallon. So if the tariffs against Mexico go forward in a month, Americans could see higher prices on things like avocados because more than 80% of what we consume in avocados are imported. Tequila, beer, other alcoholic beverages, the U.S. imports more than $10 billion annually of liquor. So NewsNation's Robert Sherman live for us outside of the White House. Robert, a lot of people trying to wrap their minds around everything, but the president seeming to come to an agreement with at least one country at this point.
Yeah, it's a rather extensive list that you just shared there, Nichole, of all of the different commodities that could be impacted here, which just underscores exactly why so many people are taking these tariff talks very seriously. And on the one hand, with looking at Mexico here, there appears to be some kind of a breakthrough here with a pause going into effect for 1 month before those tariffs would ultimately be implemented. In the short term, Mexico is vowing to send 10,000 of their troops to the U.S.-Mexico border in order to try and cut down the flow of drugs and migrants heading to the United States. Those talks will be continuing for the next month, however. You can expect President Trump, President Sheinbaum, as well as top diplomats for both Mexico and the U.S. to be involved in all of those here. But the president has been very clear that he intends to continue to use his strategy of tariffs in order to try and broker the kind of deals that he's looking for on some of these issues, particularly immigration. And the reason that the White House is very confident in that strategy is you look at the breakdown here. First, you look at that right column. Well, about 75% of exports from Mexico go to the United States. The same can be said for Canada. They are heavily reliant on the U.S. market. The U.S. does rely on the Mexican and Canadian markets as well, but as you see, a much lower percentage there. Nevertheless, the president has acknowledged that there could be some pain that some consumers would be feeling if these tariffs do come to fruition. This comes from the Tax Foundation, which estimates that tariffs, if implemented on paper as they are right now, would shrink economic output by 0.4%, increase taxes by $1.2 trillion from 2025 to 2034. That would account to about $830 in taxes per U.S. household in 2025. All of these diplomatic channels remain open. That is a message from the White House, and we're expecting a conversation to be taking place later today between Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and President Trump as they try to work out their differences there. But as things stand, Canada has said that they're prepared to institute retaliatory tariffs against the U.S., and the U.S. has not given the indication they will be lifting the tariffs that they have handed down for the Canadians. Nichole.
All right. So Robert, obviously there is this big focus on Canada, on Mexico, not quite as much so far on China. But are these tariffs on the table anywhere else?
Well, that's the thing, Nichole, is that you've heard the president leave the door open and talk about what he perceives to be inequities when it comes to trade between the United States and Europe. He called out the European Union in particular. There are leaders of the European Union who are having meetings in Brussels, Belgium today as we speak. And this is something that many of them have said they are watching very closely. Take a listen.
I think that we have to do everything to avoid this totally unnecessary and stupid tariff wars or trade wars.
First of all, we should stay united. No matter are we talking about economic tariffs, we are talking about Greenland or other issues, we have to stay united.
That's just a piece of the sentiments that you heard right there. Also heard similar points being made by Emmanuel Macron of France, Olaf Scholz of Germany as well. So a lot of major players in Europe are watching all of this playing out between the United States, Mexico, and Canada as we speak.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.